Welcome to the Proof Point Podcast, where we decode digital success one click at a time. We share key takeaways fueled by data and insights that your team can implement today to drive growth. Now, let's get started.
This is Stacy Porter Builder, your host for the Proof Point Podcast, where I feature B2B, D2C businesses and thought leaders and nonprofits, sharing marketing, data tactics, sales strategies, and leadership insights that will kickstart your growth in this rapidly changing digital space. This podcast is brought to you by Proof Digital. Proof Digital is a strategic and creative performance marketing agency. We partner with companies and nonprofits to create data-fueled marketing sales funnels and brand strategy. Visit Proof Digital to learn more. Before introducing my guests today, I want to thank Ashley Leitner, who invited our guest on today. And Ashley has been working quite a bit of time with an organization called Seeds of Hope. And Seeds of Hope is an organization that really helps women in recovery. And one of the important traits for Proof Digital is being the change and elevating those who are doing good work. And every day, and I have a sign behind me that actually emphasizes that. And our team really wants to focus on how we can elevate others. And today, our guest today is Patricia Vandervort. Patricia is a Seeds of Hope alumni and now the director of Seeds of Hope program in Indianapolis, Indiana. She has a passion for helping women who are on their journey through recovery, and she believes in and what she's doing, what God has called her to do. And so, Patricia, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
No. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then kind of tell me a little bit more about Seeds of Hope.
So my name is Patricia Vandervort, and I struggled with my addiction for the better part of 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And through that struggle, I went through prison. And as I was getting out of prison, I needed a safe place to go, and Seeds of Hope was that place. While I was here, I was able to get a job. I started working a 12-step program. I found a sponsor that was great. After I graduated, I moved over to the Father Glenn O'Connor home. And, I just had this new passion for helping women in recovery. It just filled my heart. So this is, kind of what I want to do. And I know that this is Seeds of Hope I was brought here and it was no mistake. So I'm blessed.
No, it sounds like it. And your journey, I can't imagine the struggles along that journey. But the story behind it to me is just, how when you have a community around you that helps lift you up and supports you and knows those steps that you need to take is so vital. And I think it's important for all us to understand that if you reach a hand out, you can elevate others. And then to your point, it's your calling, it's your passion, and now you're doing the same. And so it's just an amazing story.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well,
it does make a big difference when you have someone that's kind of been through the same things that you've been through. It changes when someone can say, "Hey, I've been through the same thing that you've been through,
right.
And this is how I made a change in my life, and this is what I did." And to have that guidance and that peer support, and somebody that is like-minded that can relate to you, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. And that's really Seeds of Hope is about putting those peer support, people who've been through it before, and then providing a safe space to go through those. I mean, there's a lot of steps that needs to take place before you can, join, and go to the next level of life if you need that support. So, tell me a little bit about the program itself of Seeds of Hope and how it impacted you.
Okay, so Seeds of Hope is a 12-step based program. So we expect the women to be able to work a full-time job. They are expected to find sponsors, go to 12-step meetings. We have in-house meetings that are mandatory for them to attend. They're responsible for cooking for the house a couple of times a month. They're responsible for doing their own laundry, for keeping their room clean, all while they're working full time. So this is going to get them acclimated to what life is going to be like. So we all have to have a job. And, for addicts who need that extra support, 12-step meetings are there. You have a sponsor there to help support you. And, doing laundry, making, dinner, all of these things are going to be exactly what you need to do when you leave here. So for me, it was everything that I needed to teach me how to live my life again. I didn't know how to do anything outside of use. And, that's all I did, and it made me feel good to actually do what I was supposed to be doing. It built my self-confidence. And, the people that worked here at Seeds of Hope, there was that love and support there. There was that understanding, and, but there was that, hey, you're not doing this right at the same time. And, but it was done with love. And, even if I didn't want to hear it,
That's right.
And I remember Marvetta Grimes, I did something wrong. I did something wrong in the program, and she looked down over her glasses at me and she told me she was disappointed. And I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was a big deal, and, you just, if you knew Marvetta, you knew that she was really disappointed, and that hurt my feelings, but I never did anything else wrong either. So
well, when you have that love around you and that support, maybe you didn't have it before, or you lost it in that journey. It's almost, from my standpoint, looking from the outside in, you don't have that, the chances of leaving those challenging places of addiction or crime or other things that kind of get to you at a place of almost hard to figure out how you're going to get out of. If you don't have that love or feel like somebody actually cares about you, I think it's almost impossible to get out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have that support around you. You have to know that it's going to be okay. Especially when you're so comfortable using and living that lifestyle, and, I went from homelessness, we have women out here who are homeless, using and finding ways and means to get more. And, whenever that's all you're used to have, the support of someone that has been there with them, it changes, and it's so uncomfortable to have to learn how to live again. And, sometimes, you just stay in what's comfortable. So anyone that's brave enough to come and get some help, they need that love and support, because we know that it's uncomfortable. We know that this is a, serious life change, and it takes a lot to do it. But you can. And that's the whole thing. Like, you can do it. And everyone that works here at Seeds of Hope, we are living proof that you never have to use again. And, that's something that is successful in this program, is that we have, people that have been right where they are. And that makes all the difference.
It does. It really does. And if you could share a little bit about the history of the organization and Father Glenn O'Connor, and his passion, and the model of Seeds of Hope, I'm going to dig into this a little bit, is actually a winning formula from my standpoint of how nonprofits can grow and actually make a big impact. And it starts with him, from my outside looking at it. So could you tell me a little bit about the story behind, Seeds of Hope, what best of and Father Glenn O'Connor?
So the place that we're in now used to be a convent for St. Joe's Catholic Church. And they decided that they wanted to make this a recovery house for women. And so that's what they did. So Fairbanks brought a program in. It wasn't long after that. Fairbanks is like, it was a fresh start program. So they were like, okay, we don't want to do this. Well, the director at the time walked over to St. Joe's and, talked to Father Glenn, and they were like, they're closing our program down, and we have all these women and they have nowhere to go. And anybody that I didn't have the chance to meet Father Glenn, but every story that I have ever heard about him was just, we'll take care of it. And, that's what he did. So he took it over and made it Seeds of Hope. And, in 1999, Marvetta Grimes went through this program. He made her house manager, director, and then the executive director. But people got behind Father Glenn's passion for this place. And with helping women, it didn't matter if it was $5 or $500. He wanted people to support the women that were trying to change their lives. And I think people could see how important it was to him, and, maybe even the difference that it was making with the women that they helped. And, so people got behind it, and it is just, we're 25 years old now. And, we still have a ton of support and a lot of, good people that back us up in serving these women. They make it possible for us to do what God has intended us to do in this program.
Right. And when I first became aware of Seeds of Hope, the piece that I love within our partnership was, it was really clear to me, what problem do you solve? It's really clear. I mean, what are you doing? It's not murky at all. It's what are you doing? And you're helping these women through these steps and providing a roof over their head during this process, and a support system that carries them so that they can transition out of this traditional place, to give them support and the skills that they need to go on to find their passions like yours, and to have impactful lives. And how you're going to make my life. I knew how you were going to make my community's life better, even if I wasn't someone who needed your service, because it was really clear to me, if we don't have organizations like yours, these women have no hope. Like you said, this is a Seeds of Hope.
Absolutely.
And
for me, I wouldn't have had anywhere to go. I would have been released from prison and right back in the same environment, because I wouldn't have had a choice. And, this, coming to Seeds of Hope gave me a safe place to be, where I could start my life over. And that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, no. And Father Glenn's vision. And then the other piece that I saw, and we talked a little bit offline on this, is that he put 2 feet in and said, we're going to make this happen. I went to an event of yours last November. It was a reverse raffle, and I would like to talk a little bit about that. I will tell you, it was the best. If any nonprofit wants to learn how to do a reverse raffle, they need to go to your event. It was unbelievable. But what's also unbelievable was the amount of champions that you had in that room. And so you really have, through, I'm sure it was built, Father O'Connell was the foundation, but now you have so many others who have embraced your organization and embraced these women. I mean, there were hundreds of people there, and it was, again, like I said, it was the best nonprofit event that I had ever been to. And I've been in the Indianapolis community and watching nonprofits for 3 decades now. So congrats. Any insights that you can have in addition to what I just said? But I mean, it's the way to do a nonprofit event.
It's great. We get together and we have people donate stuff for our auctions, and, we really get out there, but we have fun. We have fun, and we make jokes, and, this cause is so important. And, women that need help in Indianapolis should, always have support. And the fact that we do, we've got, the O'Connor family, they do amazing things for Seeds of Hope. And, we've had support through Father Glenn, and now Sean O'Connor, who has taken over and, picked up right where Father Glenn has left off. And, we wouldn't be here today without that. Right. So, in the transition, I'm sure that it was hard at the time when it happened, but people are still supporting, our our reverse raffle is probably, our single favorite event of the year.
Right.
When a lot of people come out and, I like it because I get to meet all the people that help us
Right.
and, to put a face with a name and, to us, you're not just a dollar sign. You're like helping us help these women that need us. And, there's no replacement for that. So if I can get to know all of our supporters and our donors, and I love that. Like
Right.
that's probably my favorite thing about the reverse raffle is just meeting all the people that make this possible for us. That's
Right.
so important.
It is. And it's also like I said, if any other nonprofit wants to look at, I mean, everybody who's involved in that room, this is an issue that's important to them, and they understand. A donor wants to understand how their investment is being used, right?
Yeah.
And the impact of lives. And so, how is are you a trusted organization, and how is my dollar going to be used? And it was clear, it was so clear about how my contribution or anybody contributed into Seeds of Hope and what impact
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah. So we make sure to get up there and say, I'm a Seeds of Hope graduate. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be here without your support. And we bring other alumni up to tell their story and say, thank you guys. This is, the reason that you guys do this is to help women like me that just need a second chance and
Right.
they just need some support. And, anyone that donates to this cause should just know that, I wouldn't be here without it. And Sherry wouldn't be here without it. And Marvetta wouldn't have been here without it. And, there are good women out there that just need some help. And we're here to
Right.
help them with that.
Right. We'll talk about a little bit there about what are some things coming up for Seeds of Hope that are coming up for folks to take advantage of.
As far as our new facility goes,
Yeah, your new facility. Yeah, you have a new facility opening up next year.
Yes, 2025. So, a lot of people don't know the story. Marvetta Grimes, she had some children that, were in foster care through her addiction, as she was trying to get herself together. And she had a set of twins, Anthony Grimes and Kanoya. And Anthony Grimes unfortunately didn't make it. They were beaten and starved in the foster care system. And, Marvetta had, when I sat down and had this conversation with her, she always felt like and I get so emotional about this because she's right. And just that we're making this happen for her is, I mean, I can't even express how that feels, but, she always felt like if she had a place to bring her and her children for them to recover together, that he would still be here with us. And she's absolutely right. And so it was her dream and vision to have a place for women and children to go so the families could recover together. So we have partnered with the Volunteers of America. A little story about that. After we got the Father Glenn O'Connor home up, and Sean, I heard the story from Marvetta, and I also heard the story from Sean O'Connor. So I guess after the Father Glenn O'Connor home went up, I guess Marvetta was walking next to Sean, and she's like, "Now we just need a place for women and children." And he was like, "Marvetta, can we get this place going?"
Before
Yes.
we're on to the next project.
Yeah, but you know what? Uh, she was determined, and that's one of the things that you loved about her. Like, she was on a mission, and she wanted to do something impactful through her pain, and that's exactly what she did. So it wasn't 48 hours later. Someone with the VOA had called Sean O'Connor and said, "Hey, we're looking to open a women and children's facility. Would you be interested?" And he blames Father Glenn. He's like, they're pulling strings from heaven. And I tell that because, it's a beautiful thing. And, it's just so heartwarming to think that, Father Glenn, he had a passion. He wanted a place for the women to go after they graduated so that they wouldn't have to go back to the same environment. And, they made that happen for him. And now we have Marvetta, whose, dream and passion was to have a place for women and children, and we're making that happen. So, it says a lot about our organization as a whole. In 2025, we are opening the Marvetta and Anthony Grimes Family Center. And, it's not only because it is so needed in this community, but it's a little bit more special to us here at Seeds of Hope because we know why, and we got to know the person behind this dream and vision. So on that level, it means so much more, and it's exciting because she unfortunately isn't going to be able to see this, but we know that she's seeing it. We know that she's there with Father Glenn pulling strings and messing with Sean O'Connor.
I know. And I know for those listening, she passed a little over a year ago, I want to say. Is that right?
Yep,
It was
May 10th was her 1 year anniversary, and we did a balloon release.
Okay.
And our groundbreaking event was on May 16th.
Right.
So it was super close, and it was so emotional. It's still so emotional, but it's so emotional to us here because because of Marvetta, period, just because of Marvetta.
And our team was lucky enough to capture a little bit of her almost a week before then, my understanding. Mm-hmm. And so that story and her story, you can catch it on the Seeds of Hope website, which is seedsofhopeindy.org. And we'll make sure that we add that information into the show notes and those type of things. But seedsofhopeindy.org, you can actually learn a little bit more because her video is right there on the front. Yeah. Telling the story. How can folks engage with you all? I mean, you have the Father O'Connor home, and you're still applications can go through your website.
So how someone would go about getting help from us. So if you are a woman, or a woman that's in need of substance abuse disorder, sober or transitional housing, or sober living. So we have the transitional housing for women just starting out. They need to be able to pass a drug screen, but we also have an application process. Right. Mm-hmm. And that you can find on our website. It's under the Get Support. And there's 3 sections: Recovery House, Father Glenn O'Connor Home, and then the Marvetta and Anthony Grimes Center. You just go to the Recovery House and click on Download Application. You can download it, you can bring it in, you can fax it in, you can email it back to us, and we'll review it and let you know within 48 hours if you meet the criteria. And then we just go from there. If you have 6 months clean time and you've been on your job for at least 6 months, you can give us a call here at Seeds of Hope and come to the Father Glenn O'Connor home. And that's sober living. So it's independent living. It's $562 a month. All utilities paid, Wi-Fi included in the rent, free laundry facilities. It's a great place to be. Great sober living environment. So just give us a call, ask for Patty. I'll give you more information about the Father Glenn O'Connor home. And if you know someone that is going to need the Marvetta and Anthony Grimes Family Center for women and their children, or someone that has already, a woman with her children that has already been in a program, this is going to be the place for them, because we're going to have 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. We'll have 24 2 and 3 bedroom apartments for the women to gain their footing and to continue on their journey. So we're really excited about this.
That is amazing. And you can always contact, there's a contact form on your site. Phone numbers are at the top of your site. It's seedsofhopeindy.org. And you can learn more about what's the latest, their team, their facilities, all that on that site.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a pretty site.
It is. It's great.
What else could you share? Anything else that you want to make sure that the final thoughts here? I mean, we covered a lot. I just want to make sure that folks take home, the most important proof point as we kind of walk through about one, how important it is to dive into a community that you feel passionate about. And this is one that I am confident that makes a big difference in our community.
Oh, it definitely does. Seeds of Hope, like I said, we've been around 25 years and, we continue to just do more. We'll be able to house 75 women here.
Wow.
And the importance and their children, we are going to be able, to help. If you are a woman that is suffering from substance abuse disorder and you need help, we're going to be the recovery campus that you need, whether you have children or not. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. Our community, needs us, and we need our community support. And we do great things here, and our intentions are to help women achieve long-term sobriety and live the life that they've always lived. And I think that's the most important thing is that we are helping these women that need us.
Yeah. How many years have you been involved in this organization? When did you first come to Seeds of Hope?
2021.
Okay.
I think it was 2021.
Okay. All right.
2021. I went through this program in 2021, and just a little bit of insight. So this is how I know that it was a God thing, because this is the only place, this is the only place that stuck out whenever I was looking to apply. This is the only place that I applied. So I got accepted in here. And, when I went through this program and I graduated, I moved over to the Father Glenn O'Connor home, and Marbetta Grimes called me into her office, and I thought I was in trouble. I'm like, what did I do? Why is Marbetta, trying to get So she asked me, she said she was going to be retiring soon. And I was like, Marbetta, you're not going to retire. You're going to be here forever. And she said, no, I'm not. I'm moving to Arizona. And, I'm sure casinos had something to do with that. But, she had plans that, she wanted to go and live her life. And, it was a beautiful thing to hear her talk about that. And, she asked me if I would be interested in her position when she retired. And, I just kind of looked at her like she was crazy. I'm like, like, why me? And then she looked down over her glasses and she said, are you going to answer me? And I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, but I need experience. So she said, well, you go get experience. And that's what I did. I started working. I worked in treatment for about a year. And then I got a call from Marbetta, and she said, are you ready? And I was like, I'm ready. And I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I came here and started working as the director of marketing. And then it was, a short 6 months later, Marbetta passed. And, I guess, yeah, it was tough.
She knew.
Like that. What did you say?
I mean, she kind of knew that she needed to.
Yeah, I think she did. We can speculate, right. I feel like she knew what was going on. She just didn't realize how bad it was.
Right.
But, she was on a mission. Like she wanted this family center up and running, and, she was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that happened. And, she did. She did. She got all this whole ball rolling before she passed. And, we know that she'd be proud today, and it was a tough transition to start this position because, as Sean said, they just kind of threw me in the frying pan and
they did. And here you go.
And here you go. But it's okay. I've had all the support. We've got a working board, and and they have helped me so much. The staff members here, into transitioning into this position to make sure that I'm successful. I'm doing the nonprofit executive director leadership management.
Right.
And I work with a professional management coach. I meet with her once a month, on top of, just experience.
Day-to-day, yeah.
Experience, yeah. And, I think I've grown so much in this last year. And,
we're all learning.
Yeah. And, and I'll continue to grow, and I'll continue to learn. And, I'm just so grateful that, I've had the support that I've had throughout this process. And, I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of this organization.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And anything we can do to be supportive, it's an honor to, again, to be a part of an organization that is being the change. And any other any other comments we need to, first of all, make sure everybody goes and checks out Seeds of Hope, indy.org, and either support them and help them or direct people who need their support.
That's right. That's right. If you know someone that needs help, www.seedsofhopeindy.org. And if you want to support our cause, we have this is a worthy mission. If you are looking to help someone and to support someone, Seeds of Hope is a worthy cause, and we appreciate it all.
Awesome. Well, thanks. We've been talking to Patricia Vandervort. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
And it's been an honor. Thanks for being the change.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Proof Point Podcast. We'll see you again next time. And be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.